Welcome everyone to Scholar Ready's Tuesdays of Scholar Ready. Today we're going to talk about the 5 P's of college admissions. I'm Jennifer Ledwith and I'm the director of Scholar Ready. At Scholar Ready, we are, it's time for your next level, and we prepare students for exams. When we talk about exams, SAT, ACT, and PSAT, we also help students to write personal essays for scholarships and college admissions. We also help students to improve any scores they made their high school math, and, their high school math experience and their high school math grades. I'm Jennifer Ledwith. Started the company in 2004. I started the company because I wanted to be able to help students to graduate from college virtually debt-free. I graduated debt-free. Well, I had a $1,000 loan. I graduated from the University of Oklahoma. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, and I graduated from the University of Oklahoma. I have a bachelor's degree in finance and economics, and then I went to Rice University and I earned a master's certificate in personal financial planning, and I am actually a certified financial planner. So the certified financial planner always comes to the meetings with the parents and the students, especially when we talk about college and how much it costs. When I was applying to college, I knew that I wanted to go away. My peers were applying to schools away from, from Houston and from my high school. And in response to that, I knew that I would have to win scholarships because my family's in the middle. So we're in the middle, meaning that, like so many of you, my parents make too much money for us to qualify for financial aid, me and my twin sister, too much for us to qualify for financial aid, but you know what? Not enough money to turn around and write a check to a university for thousands of dollars a year. And from the time I was a junior in high school to the time I was a junior in college, I had applied for over 30 scholarships, and my scholarships pretty much paid for my tuition and fees. I worked part-time during the summer and during the summers and during the school year, and those adventures helped me to pay for my college education. I graduated with $1,000 in student loan debt. I took out $1,000 loan because I wanted to buy plane tickets, but when I graduated, I looked around and I started talking with my friends who I had graduated with, and they were telling me about how they owed thousands of, tens of thousands of dollars in student loans for their undergraduate educations. And that's why I started Scholar Ready, to be able to help students to be able to maneuver and to use their academic tools, such as, test preparation and essay writing, to help them to avoid the kinds of things that I see my friends, my age and relatives my age experiencing in the way of paying back student loans. And so I started off helping students we started off in math tutoring and eventually expanded into test preparation. Currently, we have a program at U of H Clear Lake where we meet with a large group in the fall, the winter, and the spring for SAT prep. We also have private tutoring, and with private tutoring, we are preparing students for upcoming SAT and ACT exams before the end of the year, and we are also preparing students for exams coming up. We're going to spend some time in the summer helping with those exams as well. If you're interested, please send me an email. My email is in this message. You can send me an email. It's jdledwith@scholarready.com. If you're interested, or if you know someone who's interested who wants to get a jump on anything. I will tell you this, some of my best students are athletes. Some of my best students are athletes, and I learned last year that most of my students who are, all my students who play football participate in 7-on-7 games. And this is what I want to do. I want to sponsor a 7-on-7 game. And when I mean sponsor, what I'd like to do is set up a tent, like I'm gonna call it a cooling tent. Set up a cooling tent, and because I know those games, it's the summertime in Texas, and those games are ultra hot. And what I'd like to do is set up a cooling tent and hand out ice cold waters to the parents, and then pass out literature about Scholar Ready while while the parents are there. So if you know someone who can make that happen, if you are a football coach and you want someone to help your help your parents, help your students, and then also help them with their test scores, but then also help them to stay hydrated during those hot practices and those hot games, please send me an email to let me know that you're interested. Today's session is about the 5 P's of college admissions. We'll have these seminars throughout April and May. Today we're going to talk about the 5 P's of college admissions, and we're going to talk about really part 1, which is the academic piece. The next time we'll talk about the more fun piece, the personality piece, and then we'll talk about essays. If you're interested in learning more about our next seminars and our next sessions, please subscribe to the newsletter. And if you text SCHOLARSPOT, that's SCHOLARSPOT in all caps, to 22828. You should be able to receive the newsletter. If you can't, for some reason, subscribe to the newsletter, send me an email. You can also go to the website www.scholarready.com and be able to gather the information to sign up for the newsletter. Okay, so the 5 P's of college admissions, and ultimately really college scholarships, because your colleges are going to be for the most part, the largest provider of scholarships. If you go, and what I want you guys to do for homework is to make a list of colleges that your child or that you are interested in attending, and go to look at undergraduate scholarships and look at the criteria for different scholarships, and look at the amount of money attached to those scholarships. Often students will call me because they know that if they answer, if they get 80 more points on the SAT, they can get more money from a particular college. So it's something that you should, it's better to know that now. It's better to know that before the end of the senior year. Some of you are listening and you have younger students, which is awesome. Those of you who are listening are probably seniors, which is okay. But I really think that I encourage you to go online right now and start looking at what those colleges want you to do. Okay, so let's talk about the 5 P's. The first 3. We're only going to talk about 3 tonight. The first P is program. What is program? Program relates to the level of rigor of your coursework. So when we talk about program, are you involved in International Baccalaureate, which is an IB program? Are you involved in advanced placement, pre-advanced placement, dual credit classes? Are you challenging yourself at school? So the 5 P's, that's the program. The program is how rigorous is your course load? And there's an eternal question, and that question is, which should students take? Dual credit or advanced placement classes? Well, you're not going to get a conclusive answer here. I have conducted this debate in front of a group of counselors at a counselors conference, and the answer, we couldn't come up with it. We had people in the front shouting dual credit because it's guaranteed credit. We had people shouting advanced placement because some schools will accept the advanced placement over the dual credit of the local community college. The best answer is it depends on the student. It depends on the student. It depends on the student's educational goals, and it also depends on the resources that the student may have. For example, if dual credit is offered at a community college down the road and the student has to pay for it, then that may not be feasible for students who don't have transportation to get to the school and who don't have whose family does not have the extra money to pay for the course. So you have to decide. It depends on that particular child, and it's not gonna dual credit or AP is not for everyone, first of all, and second of all, you really want to take the classes that the student take, the challenging classes in the subject areas that the student excels in. For example, if you have a student who dislikes science, why are they taking AP biology? You really want to be able to do as best as you can, and that goes to the second P. So the first P is program. The second P is performance. So when you are considering the number of advanced placement classes, pre-advanced placement classes, and dual credit and international baccalaureate or IB classes, when you are considering those classes, always also consider the performance, the grades. The grades are so important. The grades are so important. Of course, at most schools, students will receive more points toward their GPAs based on taking those advanced courses. For example, an A in an advanced placement class may be, an A in a B in an advanced placement class may be equivalent to an A in a regular class. And to find that information, you should look in the student handbook for your student to make sure you understand how the grade point average will be calculated. That's why some students are graduating with like 5 point something GPAs, because they're taking advanced placement classes and dual credit classes. So number one, you want to understand how those classes are going to affect the overall GPA and of course the class rank, and also you want to make certain that your student is performing as well as he or she can in those classes. I mean, if you see, if a college notices a C in all these advanced placement classes, it's not good. Your student didn't master the material and didn't really learn it if he or she is making C's. One thing that I would suggest, and I know I'm very biased, if you have a student who is in advanced placement classes and he or she is struggling, strongly consider getting them a tutor. And of course, we do offer tutoring at SCHOLARSPOT. That's why I say I'm biased. But really, you want to make sure that you can do all you can to make sure your child is successful. So the 5 P's. 5 P's. We're only talking about 3 this evening. The first P is the program. The second P is performance, and the third P is potential. The third P is potential. Potential is measured in test scores. Test scores. When we talk about test scores, that's the PSAT, the SAT, the ACT. The PSAT counts for scholarships during a student's junior year. Usually students will take it in the middle of October on a Wednesday at his or her high school. And that's when it counts for 3 scholarship programs. There's a National Merit Program, which is for all students. There is National Achievement, which is for students of African descent. And then there is the National Hispanic Scholars Program, which is for students of Hispanic descent. Now, these are real scholarships. I'm a National Achievement Commended something semifinalist, and the University of Oklahoma waived my out-of-state tuition fees. That was one of the reasons why it was so affordable for me to attend the University of Oklahoma. I had a classmate at OU who graduated, and he was a National Merit Scholar. And again, these are scholarships that are not based on need. He came from a pretty well-to-do family. Both his parents were professionals, and he was able to get so much money from Oklahoma that they paid for his they gave him a full ride, and he had a stipend. And he used his stipend to buy Rose Bowl tickets one day, one year. Those scholarships are real and true. You must prepare for them. You must prepare for them. And you know what is a large stepping stone to prepare for these exams? The program. The program. A student who has taken rigorous classes, rigorous core subject classes, is positioned to perform well on the PSAT. The more a student can bring to test preparation, the more a student can bring to that table in terms of advanced coursework in math and algebra and English, the better the student is going to perform on the exam. So PSAT counts the junior year. Most students will take it freshman year, sophomore year. Junior year is when it counts. And some students just aren't, some schools select who will take the PSAT as a junior. So that means as a parent or as a student, you need to advocate for yourself or for your student and make sure, work with your counselor, work with the staff at your school to make sure that your student is taking that exam in October, and of course I've seen some school districts offer it in November as well. So that's the PSAT. PSAT is pretty much for the scholarship program. When we talk about college admissions exams, we think about the SAT and the ACT. The PSAT is not a college entrance exam. If you are a junior and you have taken the PSAT, great. But if it is your junior year and it is, let's say, the spring of your junior year and you have not taken the SAT or ACT, you need to register with a fierce urgency, because the PSAT is not a college entrance exam. So SAT and ACT. The SAT and the PSAT are nearly identical to one another, except there are a few more questions, there's a little more time on the SAT, and also the SAT adds an essay. But the essay doesn't count toward the cumulative score. The SAT, you can go to collegeboard.org, COLLEGE, board, BOARD.org, to register for the SAT and to check out the different exams that are available. You can also, or the exam test dates, you can also go online and look at sample exams of the SAT. The SAT is similar, again, it's very similar to the PSAT. The ACT is another college entrance exam. It's different from the ACT. It's different from the SAT in several different ways. Number one, the math on the SAT is focused quite a bit more on algebra. The ACT math is going to be more math that is representative of your experience in math in middle school and high school. That's one difference. On the SAT, the SAT employs more vocabulary or a higher level of vocabulary. In order to perform well in the SAT, you need a higher level of vocabulary than you would need to perform well on the ACT. And of course, the ACT also has a science section. But when you go and when you log in, let's go back to your homework. Go back to that school, go back to that ideal school, and look at what the colleges are offering in terms of scholarships in exchange for a GPA, a class rank, a test score. If you look at that, those are the first 3 P's of the 5 P's of college admissions. So the 3 P's that we've talked about are academic in nature. Number 1, program. Number 2, performance. And number 3, let's see, the first is performance. The first is program, the second is performance, and the third, of course, is potential, as measured by the test scores. If you have any other questions, please sign up for the newsletter, and please stay tuned for the next Tuesday with Scholar Ready, and have a wonderful evening.